It's been a long time since Valorant has added a meaningful agent that has depth, layers, and strategy while adding something substantial to the meta. I can confidently say that out of all 4 agents that have been added to the game since launch, Astra might be the first real game changer that significantly adds game-changing strategy and opportunity into the meta. What is up, ProGuides family? It's your host, Sergeant Frost, and today we have our only Astra guide you will ever need. Make sure to connect with me on my social media for high-level gameplay with Astra, and even more in-depth tips, tricks, and help with this new mind-bending agent. Before we hop in, I want to let you guys know that we have a new Valorant course on our website written by the pro player Psalm on Team Dignitas. Psalm is known for having one of the best strategic and analytical minds in all of esports. In his course, he covers Valorant fundamentals ranging from aim and movement to defaulting and round development. You will finish his course with sharpened game knowledge, secrets from a pro player, and you'll have the right mindset to improve. Make sure when you purchase anything on our website to use the promo code FPS25 for a discount on anything you buy. Now, let's hop right into this guide. In order to make sense out of any of Astra's abilities, we have to start off by explaining what her Astral form is and what it does for her kit. Astral form is a state that Astra can go into in order to place down her stars across the map, and it also allows for her to set up her ultimate wherever she pleases. When you want to go into her Astral form, you press your ultimate button on your keyboard. There is no cooldown on how many times you can go in and out of this form, so do it as many times as you need. When you enter this form, you are completely vulnerable to the environment around you, and you will not be able to see nor hear enemies approaching you. So be careful not to go into Astral form in a place where an enemy can walk up behind you and kill you with ease. When you go into Astral form, the main thing you want to be doing is placing your stars down around the map. Stars are first and foremost a currency that is completely unique to Astra as an agent. They are a currency that she purchases that allows for her to place down her stars around the map. Stars are a deployable that you can use to turn into your abilities while in Astral form. Or you can even exit Astral form and then reactivate them later in real time. When you reactivate them outside of Astral form, they can be transformed into Nova Pulse, Nebula, Dissipate, or Gravity Well. The main concept behind Astral form that players must understand is that this is how Astra uses her kit as an agent. A good thing to note is that she can only place down her stars while she is in Astral form as well. A quick piece of advice that I learned while playing Astra is to bind your ultimate button to a side mouse button or a key that you can press easily on your keyboard. Because trust me, you'll be pressing this button a lot in game, and in a post-playing situation when you need to place down a few stars instantly that can turn into smokes, the last thing you want is to be fumbling trying to press your X key on your keyboard and potentially getting caught in Astral form. Or even worse, messing up and canceling the stars you were trying to place down in a pinch. Too many times I've been caught out trying to quickly place down smokes when enemies are around, and I've been punished heavily for it. It also isn't uncommon as well to experience some bugged interactions with her Astral form, where when you come out of it, the stars you place down actually aren't there. Before we hop into her main abilities, let's explain how her stars affect Astra's economy. Astra's abilities cost stars, and they do not cost traditional in-game credits. Her abilities can only be activated if you have stars available in your inventory. At the start of every round, you will get 2 stars for free. Her stars cost 200 credits each, and you will need to buy them in the shop menu at the start of every round. You can hold a total of 5 stars at any given time, and if you would want to buy all of your stars at one time, it would cost exactly 1,000 credits. All of her abilities also have their own specific cooldowns, so for example, if you wanted to, you could use all 5 of your stars as her Nebula smokes, but you will need to wait 15 seconds after you've used the first 2 charges of her smokes before another charge of it will become available to you. Basically, you can use one set of your abilities multiple times in one round repeatedly, but you must wait for their specific cooldown to expire. I know it's a weird concept, but this is a balanced decision. Otherwise, she would become beyond broken having the ability to activate 5 smokes on the map at the same time. One of the biggest things you will need to master with Astra is stars and economy management if you want to get the most out of her as an agent. If you would like more help learning about how you can master Astra, check out our website ProGuides.com for even more in-depth help. We have coaches that can go over your Astra games with you and explain what you're doing wrong and how you can get better. And we have courses written by pro players that can help you understand how to make the most out of her kit in every single game that you play. Head over to ProGuides.com to begin your journey of becoming one of the best Astra mains on your server today. Let's start off with Astra's main E ability, Nebula and Dissipate. This ability is called Nebula and Dissipate because it has 2 primary functions. The first part of this ability, Nebula, allows for Astra to activate one of her stars into a hollow smoke. This is, as you would expect, a standard smoke ability that is activated by using one of her stars, and it lasts for 15 seconds when activated. On the other hand, the second part of this ability is Dissipate. When you place down one of your stars, you can press the F key to dissipate it. Dissipating a star will return the star into your inventory to be placed in a new location later, after an 8-second delay. Dissipate briefly forms a fake nebula at the star's location before it returns to your inventory. Once the smoke dissipates, you will get a refund on one of your stars, which is a nice way to get one of your star charges back in case you misplaced it in somewhere that you did not mean to, or if you simply just want to relocate one of your stars in real time as the round progresses. Refunded stars will be marked in yellow on your UI and your interface in game, and you will not be able to carry those dissipated stars into the next round whether you end up using them again in that same round or not. One of the biggest differences between using Nebula and Dissipate is that when you use your stars as Nebula, you will get a full smoke, and it is worth noting that you will not get that star back. That star charge will be gone for the rest of the round. Dissipate is a nice way of intelligently managing your star economy and moving around your stars in real time to your advantage. Many times while attacking with Astra, I will place down my stars around a certain bomb site to put pressure on the enemy defense. Then, my team will mind game the defense by slowly working our way to the opposite site. I then can dissipate all the smokes I originally placed and get them back into my inventory. And then as we attack the other site, I will place down all of my stars and set up for post plant. If you learn to do this quickly, this can all take place before the enemies even have a chance to rotate back over. Moving on, let's talk about Astra's Q ability, Nova Pulse. You can activate one of your stars to detonate Nova Pulse. The Nova Pulse charges briefly, then strikes, concussing all players in its immediate area. This ability only has one charge that you can use at a time, and after you use it, you must wait a 12-second cooldown before you can use it again. Honestly, this ability is slept on by the community at large, and I don't know why. Nova Pulse is a great ability both on attack and defense, and I assume the reason that people don't like it is because they don't know how to use it. Nova Pulse is an ability that requires a lot of foresight when using it in game. The success of this ability is determined by where, when, and how you use it. For example, on offense, you can place a star in an area that will usually have a defender sitting in it, and you can activate Nova Pulse in an effort to catch them off guard and stun them. This is a nice way to flush out an enemy holding a contested position that your team wants to push or gain control of. Also on offense, my favorite way to use this ability is in post plant. Once the spike is planted, I will oftentimes place 2 stars on the spike's location, and when you hear an enemy try to defuse, I will use my Nova Pulse and Gravity Well in conjunction to impair an enemy and easily kill them while they are CC'd. On defense, Nova Pulse is great for punishing attackers that like to push through choke points with no fear. For example, on B site split, I often will put a star in B main entrance and activate Nova Pulse when the attackers try to run through. Many times if you can time this ability just right, you can catch multiple people in your stun and swing on them and collect free kills the entire game. Learn to use Nova Pulse at the most opportune times whether attacking or defending, and you will be surprised how many enemies you can catch in your concussive blast. Before we move on, you guys know we can't continue without our question of the day. Today's question is, what class of agent should the Riot devs release next patch? Astra is the first post-launch controller we've gotten since the game has been out. I think the Sentinel class could really use some love in the future, considering how heavy of nerfs all 3 of their agents received earlier last year. I think the game could really benefit from one Sentinel or maybe even another Initiator, since Skye is pretty underwhelming as an agent. Let us know what class of agent you want to see in the comment section down below. Now, let's get right into the video. To round out all of Astra's main abilities, let's go into why Gravity Well is one of the most powerful and intriguing abilities ever added into Valorant. You press C on your keyboard to activate a star to form Gravity Well, and players in the area are pulled towards the center before it explodes, making all players still trapped inside vulnerable. The Gravity Well effect will last for 4 seconds once it's activated. And be careful when you activate this ability because not only will it pull your enemies, but it also has the ability to pull you and your teammates in as well. Also, you can try to attempt to run out of this ability, but if you try to flee, you will be slowed to a crawl while trying to leave its grasp. You only have one charge of this ability at a time, and if you want to use it again, you will have to wait the 12-second cooldown timer before reactivating it once again. If you guys want a better visualization of how this ability works, think about how Zarya's ultimate Graviton Surge works from Overwatch. It basically just takes anyone that's sucked into its radius and pulls them into the middle. Also, this is a nice ability to place under ledges and windows because if you try to jump over or past this thing when it's active, it's gonna yank you to the ground instantly. Gravity Well also has the ability to slow down utility from your enemies. This includes but is not limited to Boombot, Trailblazers, Owl Drones, and Skye's Ultimate Seekers, just to name a few. This is an ability that you would want to place in common areas of the map that you would typically find enemies in. Just like with Nova Pulse, use this ability to surprise and corral your enemies with CC that they literally can't escape from. For example, on the map Haven, if you know an AWPer likes to peek mid-window into B, put a star down in window and immediately activate Gravity Well to pull them front and center into the window and then one-tap them. The Gravity Well can catch a lot of players off guard if used at the right times and in the right locations. When attacking, for example, place a star into back sight and use the Gravity Well to pull out defenders hiding behind cover, waiting for you to walk into their crosshairs. On defense, use Gravity Well and choke points to prevent attackers from flooding into sight too quickly. Oftentimes, this can lead to multiple kills if many attackers try to funnel into sight from the same direction. Gravity Well is an ability that needs you to time it right in order for it to be useful. And don't forget while you're in skirmishes that you and your teammates can get sucked in as well, so keep that in mind. Now, let's wrap up her abilities by talking about one of the most game-changing ultimates in all of Valorant, Cosmic Divide. In order to use Cosmic Divide, you must first be in Astral form. When Cosmic Divide is charged, use Secondary Fire in Astral form to select a point, then Primary Fire to select 2 locations. After you activate it, a wall of impenetrable cosmic energy will form and last for 20 seconds. Cosmic Divide will block all bullets and it heavily dampens audio around you. This ult is one of the most round-influencing ults in the entire game outside of Killjoy's Lockdown and Sage's Revive. The amount of ways you can cut off a site or a part of the map is insane when you learn how to position this ability and angle it. In my opinion, this ult can be a little more attacker-sided than defender-sided. On defense, the main reason you would want to use this ult is to either retake a site or zone off a drop spike. On offense, however, the mind games you can pull off with this ult is insane, and I wouldn't be surprised if it takes people a lot of time to truly understand how to use it. You can deploy this wall at an angle to allow your team to safely get on site and plant, or in a post plant, line this wall up to force your enemies to face check the wall and directly peek you to get through. This wall creates so many opportunities to take rounds for free, I wouldn't be surprised if it receives some kind of nerf or change in the future. So what kind of style of play does Astra need in order to be successful? First off, Astra is one of the most team-friendly agents in the entire game, so that means an IGL or a strictly support player would benefit the most out of playing her. Astra's kit is only useful if she can manage to stay alive for the entire round. That means she needs to have a more passive playstyle that encompasses facilitating her team first and going for kills second. On offense, an Astra player should never be first in line to entry frag onto a site. She should be in the back activating her abilities and placing down new stars to gain map control and influence the defenders with her Nebula, Nova Pulse, Gravity Well, and Ultimate. The main reason she needs to stay alive on attack is because she's a monster in a post-plant situation. Like I said earlier, if an Astra can place multiple stars on a planted spike, no defender should be able to defuse for free. A quick stun and Gravity Well can ruin an entire defense's retake plans if you pull the trigger on your abilities at the right time. On defense, Astra benefits from spreading out her stars around the map to start, and as the round progresses, don't be afraid to dissipate your stars and move them around strategically as you see fit. It's easy to manipulate an attacking team if an Astra is smart about where she relocates her stars and if she's quick on the trigger for using them. A good cosmic divide on defense can make a retake scenario go from impossible to easy if you can learn how to angle it right and force your enemies to come to you instead of the other way around. On defense, Astra should play backside and use her abilities when enemies walk through choke points to set up free kills for your teammates. Remember, Astra needs to stay alive, so never get aggressive on defense or suffer the consequences of your actions if you end up getting picked. So what's the best kind of team comp you can throw Astra into? Well, Astra fills the main role of a main smoker and map control agent within a team comp. I mean, she is a controller after all. So, honestly, you can put any team comp around her and she will still shine. Astra is a facilitator at her core, so she is designed to help her teammates and set them up for success. Since she has the potential to have 5 smokes in one round, there's no need for a secondary smoker agent such as Jet or Viper when you're playing with her. Just make sure that you have plenty of entry frags and an info agent or healer and you're good to go. An example of a team comp that Astra would thrive in would be Phoenix, Reyna, Sova, Sage, and Astra. This comp is perfect for both attacking and defending, and if they work with Astra and take advantage of her traps, no team will be safe from the carnage that this team comp will create. For our final thoughts, Astra is in our opinion the gold standard of what a new agent should be in Valorant. She is unique with powerful and impactful abilities both on offense and defense. Her ultimate is not overpowered but can still be round changing. And she's an agent that will scale with the brain power and intelligence of the player. Astra is a big brain 300 IQ agent that requires a lot of foresight and a high actions per minute in order for her to function as the main facilitator for her team. I'm glad Riot added Astra into the game, and I hope future agents added into the game will take a page out of her book in the design department. Well everyone, that's all we have for the only Astra guide you will ever need. Make sure to check out our website ProGuides.com for our new courses written by pro players and schedule a session with one of our high-elo coaches who are committed to making you a better player. This has been Sergeant Frost with your Astra guide, and I will see you all in the next one.